Hello comrades, this is Comrade Entertainment, and today we are back with PenUp. So I thought it was about time to do another drawing video, so let's give it a go. So I thought I'd start with how to actually open the app, because I didn't show it as much in the last episode, just in case anyone was wondering. So for starters, you would need a Samsung phone with the Galaxy option, so Samsung Galaxy phone. So when you open the phone, you'll probably see this Galaxy Store. If you don't already have PenUp installed, it'll be on this app. Of course, you'll just press the search button and type in PenUp. So I'm currently using my S Pen as well, which came with my phone. So that's why it's a bit different. You can also write in the text as well. I find it easier just keeping it simple with the text box. So we need to make sure it's one word. And there it is. So it'll be PenUp, caps, share your drawings. Most likely the first one at the top. So for me, and I'm guessing most likely for most Samsung Galaxy phones, it'll already be installed. We'll head back to the PenUp app here. And I think I'll just start with a normal drawing. So if you remember in the previous episode I did a few weeks ago, we did tracing. So we copied over another person's work just to help us learn. And this is one of my favourite features that PenUp offers. But today I think we'll just explore the different tools and maybe even have a go at our own drawing and just see how it goes. So, as you may have seen in my last episodes, we have all the tools at the top. So the different paintbrushes, pencils, scribbles, pens, etc. So each tool will do a different pattern, as you can see here. So that's a pencil. Some more thicker pencil. I forget the actual official term, but I'm sure we can learn that eventually. So that's a very faint one. It's a very thick one. And there you go. So as you can see, these all have different kind of styles and thicknesses. So it's good to mix and match. And you can also adjust how thick the line will be. So if we want to use this, let's say paintbrush, or we want a really thin line, we can adjust it to 1 or a lower number, or we can make it very thick to have a big brush. We also have the shading, so how dark and bright it is. So if we want it very bright, have it on 100%, and dark, almost non-existent, we have it to 1 or low. And you can just see like how faded it is. I'll try and keep it about 50% for now, because that's a good average, I suppose. So now we know all the different tools and paintbrushes and pencils we have. We also got at the top right colours. So we get a basic set of basic colours. So we've got red, orange, yellow, etc. for now. But we can also change it. So if we press top right here, where it's a little bit rainbow, let's say, we can actually manually adjust what colours we want out of the palette. So we've got swatches here, which is a bit easier, or we've got spectrum, which is even more detailed. So I'm assuming there, as you can see this underneath the line, we have two colours. So the one on the left is what you've currently selected, and the one on the right is what you can choose. So we currently have the pink, for example, but if we tap on the left here and let's scroll down to the red, once we press done, it will show we've now selected red, which is fairly straightforward. And we've also got the more complex stuff, sorry. I'm telling you how much red and green and blue, etc. So of course they're the core basic colours, I believe. I mean, as you probably tell, I'm not very great at art, and I don't know all the technical terms. That's why I'm trying to make this series so we can learn together. And that reminds me, if you haven't realised, I do want to try and make sure that I'm not trying to teach you how to draw, because I don't know myself, to be honest. But I thought this would be an interesting idea to record, so then I can see my progress over time, and perhaps you guys can maybe learn something alongside me, or maybe even give me advice and ideas, and vice versa. So now that's the colours done. Of course, we also got preset here. You can scroll right to see the different presets, and this just allows you to quickly choose what colours you want. We also got this little clock here for most recent used. You can also use this eyedropper tool. Thank you for clarifying me up. To select something we've already drawn. So let's make a bit of yellow here, for example. And that can change between white for background, or we can press this yellow and it will allow us to have yellow, if that makes sense. Right, so now we've sorted the top section, let's explore the tools at the bottom. So of course we got the typical rubber. This rub's more detailed, anything you want to get rid of. Yeah. And if you tap it again, it'll give you the settings. So it can increase the width or how big the rubber is. So this makes it easier to rub out big areas. Or we can do the shading. So I suppose you can shade or rub darker colours perhaps. Let's have a go. Okay, that's quite interesting. So you can, the lower down you have it, the less it'll rub out. So if you want to only partial rub out something, so I'm trying to think the words, but this is like shading. So if you have, let's say, a drawing and you try and do shadows and shading, we usually have one side lighter, and this represents where the light is coming from, whether that's a sun or a torch. And I suppose this could help you make that side a little bit lighter, and then of course you can use the pencil to shade the other side a bit darker. So I'll try and do an example of that later in a random drawing I'll make. And of course, on bottom here we have erase all. So say we've got a lot of work or a lot of different sketches or whatnot, rather than going back one by one or using a rubber, you can just get rid of it all. So that's the eraser done. We've also got the back and forward button, which is quite useful if you make a little mistake or if you accidentally get rid of something you don't want to get rid of, if you want to keep something. And of course the fill bucket, fill color. So this fills the whole screen if you've got nothing down. Or if you make a solid square, of course making sure the connections are secure, we can fill that square. If I'm correct, that is. Let's try that. There we go. So I don't know why it didn't work with the drawing, but like I said, I'm learning as well. So I'm sure I'll figure out why that didn't work. But in theory, from what I understand, if you make certain shapes, as long as it's connected, once you use the fill color tool, it will fill those shapes with whatever color you got selected. So now we've got the different layers, I believe. So this is quite useful for when you're tracing over other people's work, as you may have seen in the other episode, because you could have one of these as their work and one of them as yours, so then you could see the different levels and how much you've done already. Or you can also do this as backgrounds. So if I do one as a quick background, for example, see if that works. Nope. Never mind, I'll just fill it with paintbrush for now. So as you can see from my 5-year-old drawing, primary school drawing, we've got a nice little sun, a blue sky, and a black road. So then that'll be our background, and then we can do another one. If I make sure that's selected. We've also got options if we tap it again. So I can tap the eye icon to turn it on and off on the main screen. Also lock it. I believe this stops us from drawing on that particular one. So if I draw a little guy here, let's say. Once again, I know it's not very good drawings, but we'll see. And there we go. So I think I got the order mixed up, but the idea is that you can have different layers and they'll stack on top of each other. And of course, you can turn them on and off, or hide them or unhide them. So you can see it easily depending on what you're working on. Oh, there we go. That's what I was trying to do. So now we can switch it. And as you can see, our little guy's at the front. So I'm presuming this will be useful for like backgrounds, and if you draw different layers and etc. Because as you get professional, I've seen on YouTube and other drawers and animators, they have different levels. So I'm assuming this is something similar to what they use. Yeah, it's quite an interesting concept. Like I said, we can move different layers. So you've seen before, if I made a mistake, I can move it up, and now our little guy's at the front. I can tap it again, like I said earlier, to see the settings. This will see how solid and or faded it is. We can erase all, so we can delete our little guy. Delete the actual thing. We can merge it, so now both of them will be a one. So if we had our little guy, he would have been there. So let's draw him again. I'll show you an example. There we go. Merge him, and now he's in one. So merge all. So once you sign in, because as you can see, I have to sign in to actually get the full access, I suppose. I do have an account, I believe, but it's signed out. and that's my main account, so I might use one for my YouTube channel here. But yeah, if you have an account, you can have multiple layers, I presume, and then you can merge all of them with that last setting. We also got effects like drop shadow and layer mask. Not really sure what they are. We can also get a picture from gallery and camera. Sorry. But I'll skip that for now because I don't want to accidentally take a photo of myself. And yeah, that's the general idea with that section. So I'll delete that one. I'll erase all. There we go. So now moving on, we got the clipping tool. So say you got a little picture. So draw our little guy again. And say we want to copy his head. You can just circle that. I can move it. So now that selects everything you've just drawn around. And you can move it. Adjust the size. There where you want. Rotate it. And all sorts of fun things. And like I said, copy and paste. There we go. So now we've got little two heads. Okay, don't really know why it's not selecting what I want. No matter. But yeah, basically with that tool, you can, that'll be why. You can select certain things and you can copy and paste them, for example, or you can move them or adjust them and rotate them however you like. Let's try that again. There we go. So cut. So with this, it looks like you have to hold it with your finger rather with the S Pen. And there we go. And I'm assuming that's just a quicker way to move things. So move the main or biggest picture by the looks of it. And yeah, that's the selection mode and transform mode. Right. So we can also select canvas. So I've just pressed the little plus one, so this will make a new drawing. So it'll basically automatically save whatever you've done, and you'll start with a new one. So let's switch it to landscape. And as you can see, it'll switch whether it's portrait or landscape or whatnot. It's got widescreen, social media. See what social media is like. This is a fancy portrait view, I suppose. You can also zoom in and out with your fingers. So if you pinch it together and bring them together, it'll zoom out. Bring them apart, it'll zoom in. Basic stuff. So we also got new portrait or import picture. So like before, you can take a photo or select from your gallery if you have already got photos. But once again, I don't want to accidentally take a photo of myself, so I'll skip that for now. We got our previous work here, which is nice. So this is some drawings I've done before. So the tree one was my first one, I believe. I like to think that went fairly well. And then, let's get back to that. And obviously, if you remember from last episode, we did the moon and mountain. And these are some other drawings as well. There we go. We can also save as draft. What's this one? Save as ping. See what that is. So I'm assuming this will save it to your file on your phone. And of course we've got settings. And then once again, if you're signed in, you can actually send it off and then other people can view it. But I think it will take a while before we'll send any of our work. Okay. I'll just delete these. And that's the basic stuff. So we've explored all the tools, I believe. We can also hide the tools using this little bottom right button. And this will just make it easier to see our drawing, but of course we still got our tool selected. It just hides all the other tools. So yeah, that's all the basic options there. Like I said, I'll try and explore the app myself a little bit more, see if there's anything else to show you. And of course, we'll eventually learn how to draw better. And hopefully I can show you something more interesting. But yeah, this is the basics of the app. I'll try and draw my own design now, using all that we've learnt today. So let's draw a simple cylinder. I think it would be a good start. So yeah, we use the pencil. We have a average size. And with this we want to start with a circle. Try and remember back in my school days how they taught me. So I'm just putting my fingers right near the end of the pen, see if that makes much difference. There we go. So we've got one circle there. We'll draw a line top to bottom. It wasn't very straight. Draw a line either side. And we'll draw a little curve at the bottom. And that's our cylinder. So as you can see, we've got the lid at the top. Let's say our light out here. Just say this is a sun. And of course, with pencil, you will keep the original colour underneath. So that's why for this I'll have to scribble several times to get rid of that black line. So it's quite interesting. You can do several layers to get better at drawing. There's our little sun. So now, as I said before, I'll try and show you what I know of shading and shadows. So we got our lights at the top left, so our shadow will be going to towards the bottom right. And of course this side we want to be dark because it's a shadow. It's been hiding away from the sun. So we make sure that's quite dark and blackish. So I think I might try and use this one to hopefully help. So I'll make it a bit more faded so it's not as different. Because as you probably tell, different tools have different textures, let's say, so you'll be able to tell the difference between a pen and a pencil, and a felt tip and a pencil, for example. So I'm just being lazy here and using a felt tip, I believe it's called, to quickly fill in the shadow, whereas it'll probably be better with a pencil. There we go, so that's our shadow. So now we want to, I'm going to make it grey, I think. So I'll just try and find a grey. Well, let's use that. And then let's start colouring in. So with a pencil tool, it won't have the fade option that we used before here. So we'll have to manually either be light with our tool, with our S Pen, or finger if you're using your finger, or be heavy and go over it several times to make it darker. Like I said, obviously not a very good artist, but this is what I remember from school. Brings back some good memories, eh? We all have to begin somewhere, don't we? Right. Just realised the time, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to go. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye for now, comrades.